the op-ed that Murphy wrote said loneliness is driving people to a dark and dangerous place. These white men carrying tiki torches are only the tip of a giant iceberg of an isolated, angry people whose search for meaning might lead them into seething anti-Semitic, or an anti-Semitic mob. Is loneliness a two-way issue or only something that affects Republicans?
No, I think there is a crisis of loneliness. I don't challenge that at all. It's led to mental health issues. We're seeing they're pronounced amongst youth. I would argue, though, the government is not the answer. They've made it worse. Lockdown policies of the last 2 to 3 years, increased isolation. They took away all community. There were no church services. There were no schools or sports for kids. You couldn't go to an AA meeting if you needed to. So forgive me, I do not want the government fixing what they broke, especially when it comes to intervening with big tech. As we see, the government has also colluded with these tech companies to censor citizens.
Hey, Jason, I thought it was interesting. Jennifer said essentially the same thing that the senator did. There's something about the online existence that's driving feelings of isolation, the withering away of communities and community institutions. And yet, Democrats seem to not like so many of the institutions that could prevent loneliness.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that that's what I took from Senator Murphy's op-ed. I don't think that he was saying that he doesn't like any particular institutions. He's saying that we actually should be involved in our institutions and that government should actually assist those institutions to thrive and flourish. And I would agree with a lot of what Jennifer said, but I think that the issue actually goes back far before COVID, that we have been kind of isolated and moving in this direction, and it's not something that just affects Republicans. It's something
but we can both agree that the senator's op-ed said it just affected Republicans, and he didn't talk about lonely kids going to join Antifa. Well, it's not in here.
Yeah, I don't think he was saying it just affects Republicans. He gave one example of how this can actually go wrong for our country that's emblazoned in a lot of our memories. We saw people walking around, and he also was trying to show empathy literally to white America and to rural white people who are feeling isolated. And I think the biggest part that I took as a father was he was talking about children. And a lot of times our children and the damage that's being done from social media, in particular from Instagram, and that it's causing them to self-harm. The fact that we have rural men and men all over the country of all different backgrounds, but he mentioned rural white men in particular who are taking their own lives. I think that this is a real concern. And if government aren't going to actually approach our actual issues and our problems.
Well, but to be fair, they did it. To be fair, though, Jennifer, they did approach all of our actual issues and problems during COVID, and the response was to lock everybody down.
Yeah, I mean, in the piece, he talks about how the pandemic exacerbated this. It wasn't the pandemic; it was pandemic policy. Let's be clear. It was the policy that kept us separated from each other. And we were told suddenly, after years of being told to avoid screen time for your children, we were told, oh, there is no such thing as too much. You know, they did this harm. And you're right. It was there before, but it was vastly accelerated with these lockdown policies. And I would just say, you know, now they want to propose, after starting this fire, that they are the ones to put it out. No, thank you. Put your phone down, go to church, play sports, meet with your friends. I don't trust the government to fix this. They've made it worse every step of the way. And they failed to intervene with social media. Social media has been in existence for a very long time, and they've failed to regulate it. And so why do we think they can fix this now?
All right, Jason, go ahead. Why can government fix it this time?
No, I understand her concerns, and I would also, in terms of talking about its effects before, that's why he brought up the tiki torches. That was actually long before COVID. And so this has been an issue and an ongoing issue for a long time. Look, if government is not going to actually regulate this, whether they didn't seem to do it before, I agree that they probably should have reined this in earlier, but we know that it is a problem now, and screen time is an issue. And I think both sides of the aisle can admit that some of the school closures, particularly as we were moving along with COVID, were a mistake. So we need to actually move forward. And if you just want to
Jason, both sides might be able to admit that or should be able to, but they haven't yet. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.